Yo, what is going on, guys? Randall Thor 19 back again with another video. How's everybody doing today? I got a test I got to go to in a little bit, so we're going to make this video short and sweet. It was kind of requested by Tim Dog. We talked about this over the weekend. So, it's going to be a Rant's Rant. We're going to be talking about Ryse 2? Question mark? So yeah, there's a lot of speculation going on around there. I see on YouTube and Twitter ever since the announcement that Ryse 1 is finally coming to Games with Gold. It seemed like everybody always asked for that game to come to Games with Gold, and it seemed like it never would. And finally, we have it coming to Games with Gold, and people are excited, as they should be, because Ryse was a pretty good launch game. Now, keep that in mind. It was a launch game. It was a pretty good launch game. It had its issues. But all in all, I thought it was the most promising of the launch games. But it's not. The talk isn't so much now that, oh, it's coming to Games with Gold. The talk is now, this means Ryse 2 is in development and is coming out for Scorpio as a launch title or next year. And I think that we're jumping the gun a little bit on that one, guys. Come on. We're jumping the gun a little bit on that one because, from all accounts, Microsoft did want to do a Ryse 2, but Crytek owns the IP, and Crytek was very stingy about it. Microsoft wanted to buy the IP from Crytek so they could, I don't know, have somebody else work on it or what have you, whatever really happened behind the scenes, don't know, and talks ended. And now we have Ryse coming to Games of Gold, and people are freaking out again, similar to how people were freaking out about Sunset Overdrive. If you remember, Sunset Overdrive last year, about April, almost about exactly a year ago, I'd have to go back and look, but I'm pretty sure it was around April of last year, hit Games with Gold. And then, if you guys remember, just a short little time ago, a year ago, people were like convinced that meant Sunset Overdrive 2 was coming. Oh, they wouldn't put it in Games of Gold if, you know, they're trying to build hype for Sunset Overdrive 2. They wouldn't put it in game. Why would you put it in Games of Gold, you know? Of course, that turned out to be not true. Not saying that they're not working on Sunset Overdrive 2 or they're not planning to, but obviously the game's not in development. I did a video a little bit ago, like earlier last month about how Ted Price was like, Sunset Overdrive will live regardless of whether Microsoft is doing it. Remember the Game Informer article? So yeah, I think people kind of read too much into these things. They kind of get excited, and for good reason. I mean, like, I would love a sequel to Ryse. I think it was a really good launch title, and the sequel could be improved upon in a lot of different areas. It's one of the, like, outside of Sunset Overdrive not getting a sequel, my biggest disappointment is Ryse not getting a sequel. I would have loved to have seen what Ryse 2 could have brought to the table, because it's a game that we don't necessarily get a lot on Xbox. I know it's kind of like a God of War-ish kind of game, but we don't get a lot of that particular type of game on Xbox, and I would have liked to have seen what they could have done with it. And man, it was a looker back in 2013, and if they could have, be working on Ryse 2 for Scorpio, that probably would be a looker too. But yeah. Here's the thing. People get excited about this stuff, and then they get let down when it doesn't happen, right? If you're sitting there thinking, oh, well, Ryse is coming to Games with Gold, this must mean something else than other than just Microsoft giving a game because they have to, because it's Games with Gold, then you might be setting yourself up for disappointment. And I hate when people do that, because I do it to myself frequently. There are games out there that are like, I get really excited about, and then I play, and it lets me down, But then there's games where I don't have any expectations for, I play, and I'm pleasantly surprised. So people see this, they're like, yes, Ryse 2, it's coming. Launch game for Scorpio, next year. And then it doesn't happen, they get upset. And they get upset at Microsoft for not making it happen when they should be as upset at themselves for believing in something or getting them hyped up for something that there's no basis in reality right now. All we know is that Ryse 1 is coming to Games of Gold. It's a great game. Hopefully a lot of people pick it up. Maybe by people picking up and seeing the attention it gets or whatever, maybe Microsoft is more willing to go to Crytek and be like, hey, we'll give you more money to make this, right? Because let's run the scenario of it coming out this year. Like, let's just run that scenario, right? That it's a launch game for Scorpio. Now, those games usually take 2 to 3 years to make, which means Ryse they've been working on that game since 2014. Maybe 2015, which would be like right after the launch of the first game. And I don't necessarily think that's a possibility. Crytek's had a lot of problems, a lot of money issues. They've closed a lot of studios, so if they were working on Ryse 2 this entire time, I feel like they would have been more stable. They maybe wouldn't have closed more studios because they would have had this big game that they were working on with Microsoft. I just don't see a scenario where they've been secretly this whole time working on Ryse 2, for 2 years without the world knowing, and then suddenly it's going to be unveiled at E3 this year and come out this year. And I don't even see a scenario where, it comes out next year. I don't think they're working on Ryse 2, period. I think Microsoft is just giving people Ryse because they're the publisher and they wanted to give a game for Games of Gold. Don't read too much into this, people. That's my point. Don't hype yourself up just to get yourself disappointed. And I'm not saying, look, I could be completely wrong. I have been in the past. I will be in the future. And if Ryse 2 is announced this year, I'll be the first one to make a video and be like, I was dead wrong. Dead wrong. But I'll be happy that I was wrong because I would love to see Ryse 2. But come on, guys. Search your feelings. You know it to be true. There is no Ryse 2, unfortunately. As much as we all would like to see a sequel to that game, there's not one in production. So I just don't want to see people just set themselves up for disappointment just to get hurt. Just enjoy Ryse 1 when it comes to Games of Gold. Maybe sometime in the future there'll be another one, but there's not going to be. If Microsoft owned the IP, maybe, but Crytek does, and they're on the best speaking terms. But anyways, I digress. No Ryse 2, guys. That's kind of the point of the video. Anyways, if you liked the video, hit that like button. Consider subscribing for more content, as I do have a review coming for Snake's Pass and Foresight of Fantasy, and a lot of cool indie games coming out this week, and I'll have videos for them all for you guys to check out. Also have the Halo Wars 2 giveaway going on. Don't forget to check that out as well. As always, subscribe if you want to get more content, and I'll see everybody later.